All right. Welcome to the Elk Season Podcast, Season 4, Episode 22. Today is October 23rd, 2025, and today is Weird Al Yankovic's birthday.
Happy birthday.
We are the Chambers Brothers.
Happy
My
birthday
name is Harold.
to you. My name is David.
And today on the Elk Season Podcast,
we have mule deer season that we are going to talk about. Grizzly bear killed in Idaho. Wolves are in the news again. Corner crossing update. And managing predators is a conversation topic that we've talked about before. Is going to come back today. So that and probably all that and more you don't need, and all that you do on the Elk Season Podcast.
Yeah, so we just had a real quick conversation about Weird Al Yankovic and UHF. And I just happened to find out today, I was scrolling TikTok, and I saw somebody famous wishing Weird Al a happy birthday and saying, wouldn't it be great if...
Was it Madonna?
No, wouldn't it be great if October 23rd, we just call it Weird Al Day and we all practice our Halloween costumes?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great day to go? It's Weird Al Day. It's October 23rd.
I think it's your practice for Halloween, but it's in honor of a great showman in terms of costumes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna be a Sloth from the Goonies this year. I have my mask. Mm-hmm. It kills.
Nice.
I have a Superman t-shirt and red suspenders, and it's a tight Superman t-shirt.
Sweet. Hold that thought for a second.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I have a feeling he's going to go get some Halloween related something, but we'll see. Oh, that's right, because he took his helmet. Yeah, where'd it go?
Well, my helmet's drying and doing its thing. So this is just silly. So I'm sort of out there with costumes. Hey-oh.
Yeah.
I'm out there with costumes. I'm not big on dressing up. There's a few costumes I've done traditionally. Like a couple years ago, I was Gandalf.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've got, I did very convincing, I think.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I was, speaking of Napoleon Dynamite. Oh, wait, they weren't in on that conversation before we started. But I was Rex Kwon Do.
Oh, right.
And then I looked like Dad because I shaved my face. I shaved my face and I didn't look like Rex Kwon Do, but I looked like Dad in a Rex Kwon Do outfit, which works. So, but I have this thing to kind of go away from the traditional a lot of the times. And so this year I have a Stormtrooper helmet that I have been piecing together.
Yeah. It looks good.
So close to being done.
It looks really good.
I don't have armor.
Right.
I just have the helmet. So what can I do? Can I do something like, so my thought is, what can a Stormtrooper do in his off time? Well, he still has to wear his helmet, because how many Stormtroopers have you seen without their helmet on?
Just one.
One.
Yeah.
And partially two, but that was Captain Phasma. I don't think she counts.
Yeah.
So in their off time or downtime, and so I decided, okay, well, I've got a hoodie that's white with some black on it, and some pants that are white with some black stripes on it. And I've got some white shoes that kind of look like the boots of a Stormtrooper. And I thought, you know what? I have to wear the Stormtrooper helmet, but he's going to be Stormtrooper at a conference Stormtrooper. You don't have to wear your armor to a conference, but you have to wear your helmet. So here's my digital tag, or my tag. It says Imperial Leadership Summit Division Stormtrooper Corps Role Security Enforcement Designation DC 727.
Nice.
So that would be my name. Anyway.
Right.
And it's got the insignia. Probably don't sue me, please. All right. So it's a bit cheesy because I'm going to have the helmet and that's it. But
right. That's okay.
But it looks like I'm still a Stormtrooper because the white and the black. So for what it's worth, I'll be comfortable. I know that.
Yeah. So anyway, Halloween's coming, but we are in the middle of deer season for Idaho. Now I know this is the Elk Season Podcast,
correct,
and we like to think about elk all year round, and we will today.
Should we relabel this the Ungulate Season Podcast?
You know what? It'd almost be better as the Big Predator Season Podcast or the Intermountain Northwest Ecosystem Podcast.
True.
Or but I like elk season. I like elk season because so many people call hunting season deer season or rifle season.
And elk season for me, and I think you might agree, just rolls off the tongue.
It does. I don't know how no one else has picked up on it. It's such a good name. What's up with that? But deer season in Idaho is October 10th to October 31st.
Yeah.
So we are in the midst of it. A couple years ago, there was a very bad winter, and mule deer took a big
did.
hit here in Idaho.
In fact, so much so that they said, during shed hunting season, and this has been since then too, and it maybe before then, but I just remember it being a big deal.
Yeah.
If you're out shed hunting in the spring, leave the deer alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And they reported last year the harvest was up 30% from the year before.
Wow.
And they expect that trend to continue. So that is my message to deer hunters if you're discouraged. Keep going.
I think I saw that numbers are actually following the same path as last year.
Good.
So I think that's trending. Yeah.
So I like to see the guys getting deer. We still have our deer season coming. There is an archery deer season, November 16th, I believe,
through December 10th.
Yeah.
So it used to be the 19th of November. No, the 25th of November through December 19th.
Yeah.
But they moved it.
It's a little bit earlier, starts a little bit earlier, and ends a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But either way, it's still a rugged, rough weather season when you get that late November.
Yeah.
And the only mountain over 10,000 feet south of the Snake River in Idaho is 55.
Yeah.
So they get some good weather up there.
Lots of good weather. In fact, there's some weather up there right now.
So I just remember this last elk season not having seen any elk for 3 days by myself. And I remember feeling like I should feel more discouraged than I do. But I was very encouraged because, it just like a good salesman, I have to get so many no's before I get a yes.
Yep.
Every no, I get closer to a yes.
Yeah.
It's great. And so I just knew, I know there's elk up there.
Yeah.
I know there's elk up there, and they'll be back around. And we can go find them. And we did both. We did both.
Yeah,
so,
and just understanding the patterns of elk behavior makes me feel confident the whole time. Even if I don't see anything, they're going to come around because they don't sit still. They don't stay in the same place. So you actually, in a weird way, and this is probably true for deer, but it's a different beast. Deer are
catching deers.
Hey. But no, a big part of my approach to elk hunting, and I know we may differ in this a little bit, but it's like, look, if you have a static place that elk are known to travel through, you can actually do less work by hanging out in a general area and letting them move in and around you rather than you trying to chase down and spend all this energy to find them. So if you found a spot, a hunting hole, hunt that hunting hole. They'll be there.
You need to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
You either go to the right place and wait for the right time, or wait for the right time and go to the right place. But either way, you have to be at the right place at the right time. And how you achieve that, I guess, there's different ways to do that. And we use both strategies.
Yeah,
right.
We actually do use both their strategies.
Yeah, quite often.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm tired, I know what strategy I'm using, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're hoping.
By the way, made it to Sierras for the Sierras the other day.
Yeah.
Both Vesa and I were like, we're out and about. We left the kids at home to do some shopping.
Sierra Trading Post. It's a new store here in Twin Falls.
Probably familiar in your neck of the woods, but we just haven't had one here. We've been to one before several times. I think West Yellowstone used to have one. That was the first time I ever went into one.
Okay, yeah, maybe they do.
They either do or they did, because it was in 2008 when we had our family reunion when I first went into one.
Oh, okay.
But I know that we've been to the one in Meridian a couple different times, Vess and I. So when we found out the one was coming here, we're like, oh, okay. Anyway, hadn't been to it, and we talked about it. And Vess and I were out doing something. We probably shouldn't spend that much more time out and about because we need to get home. We got groceries in the vehicle, and we're like, but there's Sierras. And so I'm like cutting across traffic, and I go in there and I park. And I was actually looking for any of those hammocks.
Yeah.
I didn't find any.
Yeah.
But it was worth a shot. Anyway.
Cool. But what was your impression of the store?
It's just like the Sierras I've seen. It's a TJ Maxx of outdoor stuff.
Yeah. I saw it as a very large clothing store. Some of it tangentially related to outdoors. And then a few camping supplies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not an REI.
It's Sportsman's or Cabela's.
Yeah.
It's got niche stuff. So,
I did buy 3 hammocks from them.
Yeah, when it comes to outdoor stuff, they have that, but it's like if you go to Cabela's or a Sportsman's Warehouse, or even I dare say I haven't been to one, but the bass pro shops.
Oh yeah.
They're geared towards the hunter fisher.
Yeah.
And whereas Sierra's Trading Post is really geared towards a catch-all of outdoor activities, so
Right.
hiking, so you're going to get
Right.
Stuff that doesn't make any sense for a hunter that's going to be for sale in there, like a kayak.
I could hunt from a kayak.
Anyway, it was a loose example. I didn't
all
say
right.
it was a good example.
So as far as conservation news this week goes, there's some big stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the corner crossing update.
Okay.
So we've been here on the Elk Season Podcast. We've talked about the corner crossing case. Can sportsmen access public land from one piece of public land to another? It sounds pretty obvious, pretty cut and dry, right? Oh, okay. So it feels pretty cut and dry. We know, right, what those are. Sacred beer.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to distract because the corner crossing thing is actually super intriguing. I didn't realize you could go there first, but so kind of kindly help your distracted brother by retelling the intro to this whole corner crossing thing because I was a little
the
distracted.
corner crossing. It's just in Wyoming,
Right.
But it's a big deal because it sets a precedent, and we've been talking about setting this precedent for almost
over a
2
year.
years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years. And so what happened was they just kept appealing it to an upper court.
Right.
And it finally made it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, we're not going to hear it. So the lower court's ruling stands, and it is still legal to access public land from another piece of public land.
by going over the corner.
Right. And the guy took 2 CD cases, if you know what CDs are. Right. And he put them together like to access this piece of public land, this piece of public land. Anyways, so that's a big move. Now, that law might need to be challenged in other states,
Right.
and it might need to be federally recognized, but it is a step in the right direction.
The wheel is rolling for it.
And we've talked about the Grizzlies here in Idaho. I read a book a couple years ago, The Grizzly in the Driveway, The Return of Bears to a Crowded American West. And it goes through how many grizzlies were poached every year up in Island Park area.
Oh, wow.
It's a surprising number. The shoot, shovel, and shut up method is it's surprising how often that happens. And I told you when I read one of the wolf books. I think it was Decade of the Wolf.
Oh, yeah.
But they talked about 25% of wolf kills of wolf deaths were poaching, which is a huge amount.
Yeah.
I always thought the shoot, shovel, and shut up and smoke a pack a day was just rhetoric for guys looking to talk tough.
But it turns out
it just all talk to me, blah blah blah, and I don't think those are the guys actually out there killing wolves. But I thought it was unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's go back to this grizzly bear.
Yes.
Do you have that picture?
I do.
I have it somewhere.
It is right. Oh, actually, you didn't load the picture. You just loaded the story.
Well, that is a picture of the story.
Oh.
So anyway, what does the picture say? What is it saying to you now?
Sorry, that's not supposed to hit me as funny, but I'm thinking an image rather than.
I know, I'm goofing with
well,
you.
it is an image, but anyway. Look what you've done.
If a picture's worth 1,000 words, why do people get tattoos of words?
I don't know. And this picture is of 1,000 words.
I know.
So it's kind of weird. It all comes full circle. So a big game hunter shot and killed a grizzly bear in self-defense in the morning of October 18th. An animal charged him at close range in the North Antelope Flats area of the Caribou-Targhee National Forest.
This is 5 days ago.
5 days ago. The hunter immediately contacted Fremont County Sheriff.
Good man.
I read this same article now that I realize this is all very familiar. They responded and conducted their investigation and found self-defense, citing bear's close range charge. And you know, with bears in the wild, that as we get more in, as the populations increase and we have more encounters, these will likely become more commonplace.
Yes.
But yeah, was there something specific out of there?
No,
other than
that was it. Those are the basic details I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And I wanted to segue from that to what Steve Rinella said. I showed you a piece of a podcast. Steve Rinella, who does Meat Eater, who is probably one of the best educated and best spoken hunters representing not just archery elk, but all across all things hunting. And he does a great job representing hunters.
Yeah, and in fact, to the point that I think earlier this year in the spring, I talked about him getting an honorary doctorate from, I think, the University of Missoula in Montana.
Yeah, and his speech, you said his commencement speech.
It was really good.
It's fantastic. He's so well spoken. And you know, I've read 2 of his books. Right? I told you about Campfire Stories. I've read about Campfire Stories, and I read about the American bison, which, you know, the Latin name is bison. They're in their own family, their own genus, and their own species.
Oh, wow.
Bison. There's nothing else like them.
Wow.
Anyways, so why I know that, I remember that, I don't know. But I learned it from Steve Rinella. Right. And so Steve Rinella is on this podcast, and the podcaster says, is there something that the hunting community is wrong about, is getting wrong, that frustrates you? And it was the same thing. Steve Rinella said the same thing I've always thought about the hunting community.
And you've said it many times on this podcast.
So many times. Our attitudes and relationship with big predators, grizzlies and wolves. And he very specifically talked about shoot, shovel, and shut up as stupid rhetoric, I added the stupid, and the smoke a pack a day is just rhetoric. It's just, right, it's just talk, and it's bad. But when I take a balance from that approach, because I understand. I really think I understand. And I've told this story before, and I know you love it when I talk about Carter Niemeyer and Wolfer. Mm-hmm. But when he went to Canada, right, the Americas, technically there were no wolves in the lower 48, right? Maybe a few in Minnesota,
sure,
maybe a few in Glacier. But there was, for the most part, we did not acknowledge that there were wolves here at all. If you see one, you shoot, shovel, and shut up, right? Mm-hmm. That was sort of the relationship. And grizzly bears, you could hunt grizzly bears in Montana until 1991.
Oh, wow.
Which surprises me quite a bit. They had a special hunting season just for the Bob Marshall.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But then a federal judge shut that down and said, no, we need this ecosystem to grow. But that was 35 years ago.
Yeah, that's not that long ago.
But 35 years is a lot of generations, is a good, you know.
So I went into the Bob Marshall not long after that law went into effect then. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot more bears up there now. Anyway, when Carter Niemeyer went to Canada, he talked to people who trapped wolves, and they trap wolves for the Canadian government because the wolves do a lot. Yeah. They do a lot of damage. And they were absolutely beside themselves with the idea that Carter Niemeyer wanted live wolves to bring back to the United States. They were absolutely livid. Do you know what a pest these are? Do you even understand what you're getting into? They're hard to kill. They reproduce. They're great hunters. They're just giving this case to Carter. And Carter's like, yeah, I know. Because their dream is, well, wouldn't it be great not to have any wolves?
Yeah.
But we understand ecologically. In Yellowstone, they thought the same thing. We want to keep everything here as pristine and beautiful except for the wolves. Got to get rid of the wolves. And they killed the wolves in Yellowstone, right? The National Park Service it was policy. So, and we understand the devastation that happened to the ecosystem, the huge herds of elk where they had to cull, just butcher thousands of elk just because they were overpopulated. And so you see that side. You see this overpopulation of elk in Yellowstone because there's no hunting allowed in Yellowstone. Mm-hmm. The wolves can hunt all they want. And you have this you have these guys in Canada going, "Don't you understand how great of a predator they are?" We're like, "Well, yeah, we understand how great of a predator they are. We have too many elk. We have too many elk in Yellowstone because nobody else is hunting them." So somewhere in the middle, right, Steve Rinella is saying, listen, we need to get these out of the Endangered Species Act, and we need to manage these on a state-to-state basis. So now that we have that, and not that the rhetoric's going to stop.
Right.
All that rhetoric from Montana from the early and mid-'90s, which was, I ran into people, grown adults, worried about the lives of their children just because they lived in the outskirts. Mm-hmm. They lived by the trees. Wolves are going to take their children. They were absolutely convinced. And so far, no children have been harmed by wolves.
I mean, I've heard some pretty crazy stories myself.
Right. So far.
Modern perspectives.
In Montana. And so, but we need to change the conversation. Not from smoke a pack a day, and not from, let them all run wild and free. We need to really understand it from a strong management point.
Yeah.
And we need to take a more of an active role in managing.
We need active participants in the management process and cool heads to make sure that we meet in the middle and not have extreme approaches. And that's easier said than done, maybe, but at the same time, that's what's needed.
And I believe it is what's being done. Right? Eventually, some of these older attitudes are just gonna wear off.
Cooler heads need to prevail in so many places.
It's all over the world. Right? But you see the things online, and online world is another thing, right? Because it's already came out that more than 50% of the content online is made by AI. Yeah, did you know that? That was just this week.
I haven't heard that from anyone.
Some data thing did a thing. We're like, more than 50%. So you think somebody's posting and commenting on your stuff? Probably not, unless you know them directly.
Yeah, so, I've actually suspected that for a long time.
Oh yeah. Oh, so much of it. If it's not AI, it's a bot farm.
Yep.
Right. It's somebody else running something. So whatever. Or it's that one energy vampire. I don't know if you've ever seen him. Anyway.
Nope.
Energy vampires, they suck your energy. They waste all your
Kids?
time.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Satire. Right, total energy vampire. Total sucking my energy up. So we have this problem with the grizzly bear here in Idaho.
Yeah.
Right? Could that have been a tag sold? Right? Could that have been taxidermied? Could that have been
how many in the last 2 years have been killed here in Idaho that we can ask the same question about?
Right. And I do understand we want the northern Rocky ecosystem to merge with the Yellowstone grizzly bear ecosystem, the greater Yellowstone grizzly bear ecosystem. And I think we're pretty close to that. Mm-hmm. And I think we could have hunting seasons in areas that are not between those two ecosystems. Right? We want those two ecosystems to come together. There's enough on the outskirts of those ecosystems. Right. We can still help manage the population and encourage them to become a single population. But there was another story I came across. I don't have it here, but they talked about the herds, right? The herds in Yellowstone, they come out.
Herds of
elk. The herds of elk in Yellowstone, they come out. But they're separate herds. Mm-hmm. They don't mate together. They don't mingle, but they're in the same place all winter long.
Yeah.
But they're not. They segregate themselves on the feedlots.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah.
Right? And have we had the conversation about the feedlots? About why they're a good thing?
I think so. I think we did it early on in the podcast.
Yeah, I used to bash on the feedlots because why are you feeding elk? right?
Sure.
And then when you figure out why, you go, "Oh, I'm dumb for asking that question." And it's because all of the areas that they would browse and graze on all winter long is used up farmland and empty dirt. And so, they would normally live there and browse there all winter long, but they can't. And so they just keep them concentrated, keep them fed so they can use that farmland for human food.
It's a trade-off, basically.
Right, and or food for other animals. Anyway, so I think where I was on that was, I guess it's okay.
When you were talking about the herds, I thought you were headed towards the buffalo conversation, where the herd actually has become a single herd.
Yeah.
There was 2 different groups of buffalo, but they have determined that they are now, it's a single herd of buffalo in Yellowstone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe there's 3 herds or 4 big, large herds of the elk then.
I'm not sure about the elk,
but I found it fascinating that they segregate themselves.
Yeah, that is. But
I've seen it too. I read a book by Jim Brown called "The Dark Side of the Game" about football, about the NFL, and he talked about Barry Sanders was on his team with the Atlanta Falcons, and he says, you know what? They had segregation laws in the South, but you don't need them. You know, the team is full of players of different ethnicities, and they segregate themselves. Mm-hmm. They just go where their own are, right? And I noticed that too when I worked at a local high school.
Yeah,
it was very diverse.
That's a common thing to see in K through 12 system.
Yeah, and it was just the common thread is they all would sit at the same table and be with their own and segregate themselves.
Yeah,
So it's not a surprise. It's not as much of a surprise to me that the elk come out of these feedlots and go, yeah, okay, we're not just elk. We're this family. We're this specific elk, and they segregate themselves.
But devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Could it be that this group of elk and this group of elk have been conditioned to this kind of feeding, so they're segregating not because they mean to, but because they have learned to because of the feedlots? I
don't know.
And that's just a question that I have regarding the situation.
So, I imagine the researchers. One of the hardest things I ever did in college was experiment design. It's so hard to have controlling factors like that when you're trying to control an experiment, especially with living things.
Yep.
So I'm sure
I teach about that all the time, particularly about the human condition, which is crazy challenging.
It's so hard. And so I'll leave it to the researchers and the statistics and just say, okay, those eggheads know what they're talking about, and I'm just taking their information.
Well, and I don't mean to. I'm not saying I'm devil's advocate to you. I'm devil's advocate to the data, just because I want to, because the quasi researcher in me, based on my training, wants to make sure that we take into these to consideration these third variables or confounding variables that can impact what we think is happening, which we learned with the beavers' return in Yellowstone, how the ecosystem was changing. What we thought was going on was not necessarily the case. And as now that we're getting a broader view over time, which is what has allowed for this, we're seeing how this ecosystem has shifted, yes, with their return, but what's really happening there. And so there's a lot more details we've covered in previous episodes about that, but it was not what, the way the ecosystem was returning and what was actually happening wasn't what we thought. And researchers went back in and discovered it was a little bit more complex than that.
And that's what's great about research is, it asks more questions than it answers, right?
It's philosophy.
Good research will get you more questions than answers. And so you start looking for those answers and you find things. But that's what's great about the science of ecology is that we build on those. Right? Somebody said, oh, yeah, the return of wolves changed the course of rivers in Yellowstone. Publish it. Oh, somebody can go in there and go, well, yeah, some of that's true, but some of this works like this. And they'll have their own perspective and their own data sets to balance that. And so it's a piece of science that can be built on, just like this podcast.
Yeah.
Because none of this is definite. These are all data points, and we're just trying to figure it out.
We're just trying to understand.
And keep the elk population healthy and understanding the elk population.
And more importantly, understand how to keep in the same spot when an elk is moving in and don't move. Oh, I'm sorry. That was me yelling at myself from anyway.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Next year.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
300. I got 310 days.
310 days till elk season. Oh, it's getting close.
You know, I will still say what a remarkable experience it was to wake up and hearing wolves howl. Coincidentally on the same day, roughly, that Graham Greene passed away.
Yeah.
That is a memory I will cherish. Wolves are really, speaking of your, active management of predators, I think Idaho has been on the forefront of this for a long time.
Yeah.
They've tried different things. They've gotten scrutinized for different practices, but we've got a population. We've got to manage. We've got to keep this going. But other places are starting to
feel it.
They're going to start feeling it soon, or some people I don't know what this wolf reintroduction ban means. You didn't really tell me about that. But
it's all part of this same conversation.
But it's all like it's the tug of war we have when we have to reverse course of removing a species from an ecosystem. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Anyway, and so the learning curve of reintroduction, which is an unfortunate reality in many ways.
Yeah, and we have 30 years experience. I don't know why Colorado's pretending like it's the only one. So let's talk about the ban, because it's comical.
And where is this ban at?
It's in a single county near Denver.
Oh, it's in Colorado.
And it's a county. It's one county. They want to ban the reintroduction of wolves to one county.
Good luck.
So, I mean, who cares? Just go ahead and sign it into law if it makes you feel better. You can't stop the wolves from coming into the county. The wolves don't know where the county line is, right? The wolves are going to be everywhere else in Colorado except that county because they didn't get reintroduced there. How dumb are some of these people?
I feel like it's that scene in Lion King. No one goes to the shady area.
Yeah, just nobody goes there. Anyways, I just found that comical. I mean, I understand. It's like signing a petition. They want their views to be recognized.
Sure.
I don't want wolves to be introduced here. Okay, thank you. I understand that. To ban it in one county it's comical to me. It's funny.
Obviously there's some strong emotions there.
Yeah.
And
maybe somebody introduced a bill just as partisan.
Yeah.
Just to go, I need to appeal to these voters.
Yeah, possibly a political move. So,
but as we've talked about for a couple years now here on the Elk Season Podcast, wolves are in Colorado and they're on their way to New Mexico.
Yeah.
I thought they might be in Utah first, but New Mexico, it seems like they're heading south.
Yep.
And they're going to establish themselves in New Mexico. New Mexico is going to have same problems as Colorado and Oregon and Washington and California, because wolves are still endangered in those areas.
Yeah.
So they need to get the populations up, but they also need a plan. They need a management plan, and they need to be looking at Idaho and Montana and Wyoming,
correct,
as templates for whatever plan they come up with.
And so when it's cater it.
So this guy who did say, hey, let's ban this and let's ban reintroduction in this county. The real legislation should be, hey, as soon as there's enough, what's the number? What's the number going to be?
Yeah.
And we can start hunting them again. If he could pass legislation like, hey, as soon as there's this many, now we can start selling wolf tags.
But before it gets to that point, you also have to have a plan for how are we going to reimburse ranchers, farmers, damage to property, things like that. I mean, the plan needs to be extensive, not just about how to manage the predator, but to manage what the predator might do, just because there's going to be that learning curve.
Yeah.
And Idaho has pretty good standards on how to approach that, I think, in terms of what we've learned here. Not that you have to do what Idaho does, but just take a look. I think you might be surprised.
Yeah. You hear some crazy stories about surplus kills, about wolves just finding easy prey. I heard somebody online telling a story about they saw elk just stuck in the snow and they just killed 20 elk. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to see pictures.
I know that in Northern California, they're having a wolf problem.
Yes.
And so I think I don't know if they went into that without much of a plan or if they just haven't addressed it the way they've needed to. But hopefully they can get their stuff figured out, because it sounds like there's some serious concerns with the overpopulation of wolves in Northern California of some kind. I don't know the full story, but
I don't know what the carrying capacity is. I don't know how much predation on farm animals. There's a lot of questions there.
There's just, I don't have enough data points to speak in an informed way, but I know it's going on, and it's kind of bubbled to the surface a little bit. And ranchers and farmers out there are a bit frustrated with the legislation tying their hands with doing better with the management aspect of it.
Now, on the other side of that, there have been, I think, maybe a dozen Yellowstone wolves already killed this year outside the park in Montana.
Okay.
It's part of they don't understand borders.
Right.
They don't know if they did, they would probably stay inside Yellowstone, but they have such huge areas. And so some wolves have already been killed this year from Yellowstone. Wow. And that's going to be the practice. They're kind of a pest. You can just go ahead and keep killing them like rock chucks.
When you say that, and then you go back to the Carter Niemeyer situation. So we want wolves to be around. We want active management, but then we still use comments like, but they're kind of a pest. So wouldn't that just add fuel to the fire of those who don't want wolves and be like, well, see, you just said it yourself.
Yeah.
So how do you reconcile that argument from them who would say, well, you yourself who wants these wolves to come back are just now admitting that they're pests. So I'm kind of playing a devil's advocate question on how do you rebuttal an argument like that?
So by pest, I mean, they're difficult to manage. They're difficult to manage.
We shouldn't have them.
So
I'm just, again, devil's advocate. I'm not trying to start anything here.
Yeah. So they're difficult to manage, and we need to find practices and ways. And I think we're doing that.
Let's get rid of them.
Doing that.
Huh? Okay, I'll stop playing devil's advocate. I'm just, I got into a zone and I kept going. I don't need to keep going.
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah.
So yeah, I call them a pest, and if they went unchecked, they would be pest-like. Right. And so by managing them, they are less pesty.
People more and more are like letting clover and dandelion grow in their lawns. Yes, they're weeds, but they're also not unhealthy for the ecosystem of your lawn.
Right.
And so it's kind of like that, right? You have to, you don't want them everywhere and you don't want it to overtake. So you got to stay on top of it to not let it get out of hand.
Yeah.
It's just management.
Yeah.
So you're saying wolves are weeds? I've got weed spray.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And you'll never eradicate them.
Yeah.
They'll never be gone.
Oh, I have almost given up on the dandelions in my front lawn.
Yeah. Why?
It is a...
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And so to have a ban in a single county in Colorado is silly. Anyway.
I think I'm going to pass some legislation to ban dandelions from my lawn.
Right? That makes as much sense.
I know.
All right.
I think that's it.
I think that's all we have. Some good wolf talk. Good luck out there in deer season.
Yes.
Mule deer season, or whatever deer you're hunting.
Something like that.
Don't get discouraged.
Keep at
it. I was watching Steve Ranella again on his show Meat Eater, and somebody had a stat sheet going, "What animal have you hunted the most on Meat Eater?" And both of the guys go, "Oh, turkey. Oh, turkey. Turkey was number 3.
Huh.
Mule deer was number 1.
Wow.
With that, it was the subject of a lot of their hunts. Mule deer are really hard, big, tough, steep country. So, anyways, don't get discouraged.
Keep at it. You'll get there.
Keep at it. It's tough. It's tough. But and I on Craigslist, I told you I look on Craigslist every day.
Yeah.
I found 2 complete setups after elk season ended. Here's my bow. Here's my calls. Here's my cameras. Here's my backpack. I am done. Right. And you're like, either that was a bad breakup
or
and she wants to get as much money as she can for his stuff.
The other side of me feels like it's like, you know what? I'm going to try bow hunting this year.
Right.
Never done it before. And I get all this gear.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Or it could have been,
Some
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fun.
And so far, that hasn't happened to me.
Not yet to
Because
me either.
I can be pretty flaky when it comes to hobbies. But that one, the elk season's sticking around. Anyway. Okay. See you next time.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
In the morning light, before dawn, bow grip tight, heart beating strong. Through the forest, ancient giants roam. In the land where the wild calls me home. Through the whispering pines and the autumn breeze, driven by the chase, crisp air I breathe. With every step I take, earth beneath my feet. In nature's beauty where the hunter and elk meet. The mountains rise, kissed by the sun. In September, where I belong. Bugles echo loudly through the veil, a symphony of an ancient tale. Through the whispering pines and the autumn breeze, driven by the chase, crisp air I breathe. With every step I take, earth beneath my feet. In nature's beauty where the hunter and elk meet. Silent as the morning mist, I travel on with careful grace. Every shadow, every sound surrounds me in this wild embrace. The challenge and the thrill, the patience and the skill. In the dance of life and nature, my heart's forever filled. As the sun sets, shadows long and deep, I find my place with the memories I keep. The chase and the beauty of a day gone by. Deep in the mountains, my spirit cries. Through the whispering pines and the autumn breeze, driven by the chase, crisp air I breathe. With every step I take, earth beneath my feet. In nature's beauty, out where the hunter and elk meet. Here's to the wild places where the elk and I both roam. The chase that brings us closer to the place that I call home. In the stillness of the forest, in the grandeur of the land, I am one with nature's wonder, with my bow